One night, every ocean on Earth vanished. Not drained, not frozen. Evaporated, every drop of seawater gone in a single sleep. But what rises into the sky is far more terrifying than what is left behind, because the real disaster has not started yet. When water leaves the surface, it does not leave the planet. It hides in the sky. Every ocean now floats above your head as invisible vapor. And water vapor is one of the most powerful greenhouse gases ever known. The empty ocean basin is just the beginning. The real threat is what the sky is about to do. And it is something Earth has not seen for billions of years. To understand the danger, look at how Earth normally works. Oceans cover about 71% of our planet's surface. They hold roughly 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of water. That is more than every lake and river combined. Many times over, oceans absorb heat, they release moisture, they drive every storm, every cloud, every monsoon, they cool the equator and warm the poles. They are Earth's largest thermostat. Without them, the climate engine of Earth simply stops. And tonight, that engine is about to break. It is 11:59 p.m. on a normal Tuesday. Cargo ships glide across the dark Pacific. Fishermen sleep in coastal villages. Whales sing in the deep, far below the waves. Then, the clock turns. At midnight, the impossible begins. Every ocean, every sea, every gulf starts to lift. Not as waves, not as mist, as pure vapor rising silently into the air. Salt is left behind, crystallizing on the seafloor. Coral reefs collapse into white skeletons. Ships drop, not into water but into mud and salt. Lighthouses tower over a seabed they were never meant to see. By 6 a.m., every coastline is silent. The horizon is empty. In the first seconds, most people feel nothing. But satellites see it instantly. A wall of moisture is climbing into the upper atmosphere. Air pressure begins to spike worldwide. Pilots flying over the Pacific feel something wrong. Their instruments scream warnings. The ocean below is no longer there, just a vast white desert of salt. Underwater volcanoes are now exposed to open air. Their hot vents hiss into the sky. Mid-ocean ridges become canyons of impossible depth. The deepest one, the Mariana Trench, is now a bone-dry abyss. Pressure differences begin to build between continents. Hot air rushes in to fill the empty basins. The first windstorms ignite. They are unlike anything humans have ever recorded. At the same time, the sky changes color. A pale, milky white spreads across the horizon. That is not a cloud. That is the entire ocean, now suspended above us. Sunlight filters through differently. The world looks softer, dimmer, almost dreamlike. But this beauty hides a slow execution. Within the first minute, temperatures begin to rise. At first, only by a fraction of a degree, but the rate of rise is accelerating. Coastal cities feel a strange, warm breeze. The air is dense, heavy, and humid. Breathing becomes uncomfortable for many. Asthma alarms light up across emergency rooms, but this is only the surface of the problem. But here's the strange part. The air now holds more energy than the oceans ever did. Every gust carries the heat of 1,000 storms. Tides stop. There is no longer a sea for the moon to pull. Estuaries become dry rivers of mud. Beaches stretch on forever, into a horizon that never ends. Bridges that once crossed the sea now cross only emptiness. Fishing fleets sit tilted in the salt. Submarines lie exposed for the first time in their history. Shipwrecks long forgotten return to the world. Every harbor on Earth falls quiet. Then a deeper sound replaces the silence. A low, heavy rumble in the sky. Within the first hour, the planet's weather system collapses. Without oceans to absorb heat, the air heats faster. Rising vapor forms enormous, tower-like clouds. They climb miles into the sky. These are not ordinary thunderclouds. They contain the mass of entire seas. One single cloud may hold more water than Lake Superior, and gravity has not forgotten them. Now imagine this happening everywhere. Across every continent, the sky begins to twist. Hurricane belts no longer make sense. Lightning erupts in places that have never seen storms. The Sahara flashes white with thunder. The Arctic feels its first real thunder in centuries. But the rain still does not fall. The atmosphere is too hot. The vapor stays trapped. Heat builds, pressure builds, energy builds. Earth begins to look like a younger, angrier planet. A planet ruled not by water, but by steam. This is the kind of world Venus once feared. And now Earth is walking toward it. At first it looks survivable. Then the hidden problem appears. After a few hours, global temperatures begin to spike. Water vapor can trap heat far more efficiently than carbon dioxide. With the entire ocean now floating above us, the greenhouse effect would likely become extreme. In this scenario, surface temperatures climb fast. Tropical regions become unbearable. Even northern cities feel like a sauna. Power grids strain under cooling demand. Air conditioners work non-stop. Then, the first ones fail. Crops in greenhouses cook in their own steam. Forests turn brittle in the heat. Wildfires explode across multiple continents. But here's the strange part. The air is now too humid for sweat to cool the body. This is called the wet bulb threshold. When passed, even healthy humans cannot stay outdoors for long. Cities order people inside. The streets go silent. Birds disappear from the sky. Insects that survived the heat begin to swarm. And somewhere over the empty Pacific basin, a new kind of storm is being born. Within days, the trapped vapor becomes too heavy to hold. The atmosphere reaches its breaking point. Then, the rain begins. Not the rain you know. This is rain made from an entire ocean. It does not fall in drops. It falls in walls. Continents are hammered for weeks. Rivers explode. Valleys flood. Cities drown again. Slowly, the basins begin to refill. But this new ocean is different. It is hotter than the one we lost. It is more acidic. It carries the dust of a destroyed biosphere. The world that returns is not the world we lost. So who or what could survive this? People in sealed, climate-controlled buildings might endure the heat. Underground bunkers would buy precious time. High-altitude regions would stay cooler longer. Mountain communities would last the longest. But food would become the next crisis. Global agriculture depends on stable rain and ocean cycles. With both shattered, harvests would collapse. Ocean food chains already gone, but some bacteria deep in the salt would still be alive. Extremophils hidden inside the crust would barely notice. Life on Earth would not end, but it would be reset, pushed back to a more primitive form. A version of Earth we have not seen for billions of years. This is not just imagination. Venus may have once had oceans of its own. Scientists believe a runaway greenhouse effect cooked it dry. Today, Venus is hotter than Mercury, even though it sits farther from the Sun. Its surface could melt lead. Its atmosphere is crushing and toxic. That fate may have begun with one simple thing: water vapor, in the sky. Earth, in this scenario, could walk a similar path, but faster, much faster. But here is the part most people miss. The biggest threat is not the missing oceans. It is what was hiding inside them. Oceans were never just water. They were Earth's heat shield. Without them, our planet has no thermostat, and a world without a thermostat cannot stay alive. One impossible night, one missing ocean, one planet that may never look the same again. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to The Science If and tell us in the comments, what should vanish next? Because in this channel, every what if leads somewhere unforgettable.